Hi, all. Today we're going to talk about the difference between a quick read or a slow burn, which has the biggest impact on your reader. So, understanding what you want to get from a book makes it easier to understand what your ideal audience wants from your books. One of the things that makes me cringe when I hear it is people complaining about something being a slow burn, usually in reference to movies or books. I've written several of both, but today I'm talking about books. Some folks just like to tear through as many books as quickly as they can, as if they're in some kind of a competition. Often, they don't care if they remember the title, any of the story, or the characters, or if there was even a point to the story at all. Others prefer to take their time, observing and absorbing the sentences, their full meaning and impact on the story, and what the author is actually trying to convey to the reader. Anybody who reads with any consistency has been both or either at any given time, but you know which type of reader you tend to be. And believe it or not, this is actually reflected in how you write. This is one of the things that makes the incredible variety of stories and how they're told so wonderful to have available so readily. Sometimes you just want a quick bit of fluff, even though you know once you close the covers you won't even remember the characters' names or even what the story was really about, other than a broad genre classification. And sometimes that's fine. Then there are the books that it takes time to digest. Classics like Frank Herbert's Dune and its series, or Tolkien's Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings series. Even more modern fare like Stephen King's It and The Stand. They're not just exquisitely written, but it's the world building they and so many others have done that are part of the heart of the stories. Now, you may be thinking, wait, you're classing The Stand and It with Lord of the Rings and Dune? How dare you? Well, I dare because I've read them. Tolkien and Herbert created not just incredible human stories, but they also birthed from their own brains actual worlds, and in Herbert's instance, a known universe. So they had the extra challenge of creating so much more. If you want a real breakdown of all things Dune and other esoteric, hugely contemplative fiction, go to @Quinn's Ideas on YouTube. You will find a fabulous library of thoughtful study of these and so many other works. The Stand used our existing world, existing political systems, existing socioeconomic structures to tell an incredible number of human stories within a single book. And it took the time to build an entire centuries-old centuries-old territory, which became a town used pretty much as a sausage factory for an eternal soul-devouring entity that it took the power of friendship and love to fight. Of the books I just mentioned, as I said, I've read them all. The Hobbit, all three Lord of the Rings books, Dune and its series up to God Emperor of Dune. Why did I stop after that one? Because it really wasn't an Atreides story anymore. For me, it was the characters that I followed. For other people, it really is the worlds. But the ones that I've read more than once were It and The Stand. I've read each of them at least a dozen times throughout my teens and early 20s mostly. I couldn't stop reading them. I was called to them. Here's my point. None of these books are quick reads. They're not meant to be, but they are poignant, so much so that I actually own the Lord of the Rings series on DVD. I own the original The Stand movie series, miniseries. I've owned the original version of it in several incarnations, from videotape to DVD to now digital. And with Dune, the 1984 version, I own 3 different versions of that one, the cinema release, the director's cut, and the extended version. And then, of course, the Sci-Fi Channel's mini-series of Dune and Children of Dune. As for the Denis Villeneuve version, it's on my Christmas wish list. Why? Because I never get tired of the beauty of what the authors so painstakingly created. Now, you may think that these opinions make me a slow burn author, and yes, you would not be wrong, especially with my Freedom Fighter trilogy and my Heroes of the Line series. They're long, but they move quickly, and I live in hope that one day some weirdo out there like me will love any of my books so much they'll read them over and over again because they fall in love with the characters or the places or how they deal with the struggles, the defeats, and the victories of their lives. So the long and short of it is that a slow burn of a story doesn't necessarily mean the book itself is slow. It depends on the scope of the story. Not every story has to be long to be grand or poignant. If you want an example, check out Kafka's The Metamorphosis. It's like 35 pages. Quick read, but incredibly poignant story. Or Twain's Pudd'nhead Wilson. About 100 pages or more. Highly entertaining, highly insightful, and also leaves you with just a really interesting perspective on events of the time. Even Poe's Telltale Heart, all of which are quick reads, but they're incredibly impactful and thought-provoking stories. It is helpful to know how you want to affect your reader, what you want them to take away from your story by the time it's over. So there are a lot of people out there writing what I call forgettable content or cotton candy for the mind. That's cool. Lots of people make a good living writing books that nobody ever remembers the title of, though they may certainly have found something with which to resonate inside of them. And isn't that really what the point of not just writing a story is, but also reading one? Any book, slow burn, quick read, cotton candy, can and should have an effect on its readers. But if you have a desire to affect people on a deeper level with your writing, don't be afraid of writing a slow burn book or series. A slow burn doesn't have to mean slow moving. It's usually just a term that means that by the time it's over, it will have burned hotter. If you found any of this helpful, please make sure to go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe, and share with our fellow creatives out there. As always, I'd love to hear some of your favorite so-called slow burn stories, or even some of your quick reads or cotton candies, if you remember the title. Remember, you don't have to stick with writing in only one style or genre. Try your hand in several different ways. You'll likely surprise yourself. Till the next time, keep reading, keep writing, and we'll keep hope alive together.